I think that they're probably the loudest crowd I've ever been in. Just so enthusiastic. It was so lovely to see.
Welcome back to Foo's Files, the podcast for fans of the Foo Fighters. Hope you're all doing well. It's Dan back with you again for another episode 29 we're on now, which I'm told most podcasts don't make it past number 20. So thanks for sticking with us. We've got quite a bit to talk about, haven't we? The band are on the last little stretch of their Asia tour now, so we're going to do a bit on the Jakarta and Singapore shows and what went down there. And then obviously, since the last episode too, we've had the live EP drop, Foo Fighters Are Playing Where Volume 1, and that's been really, really well received by the fan base, so definitely warrants talking about. We're going to hear shortly from Kim Hearn, a good friend of the podcast. As some of you know, she's been on a few times previously and has just been to both the Jakarta and Singapore shows, so she took a little break from her holiday to dial in from Singapore and tell us about what went down at those gigs. And I also had a chat with Devin and Iman, who run the Foo Fighters Indonesia fan account on Instagram, which is great because, as we've said before, it's a global community and it's nice to open that up further afield and bring some new people into the fold. It's been a really exciting week for them because obviously the Foo Fighters haven't played in Jakarta since 1996. So, yeah, really excited for them that they got to experience it. But we'll start with the new live EP, which features 6 soundboard recordings from the recent pop-up shows in the US. As I mentioned, it's called Foo Fighters Are Playing Where Volume 1. The Volume 1 being the very telling sign as it suggests there's more to come. Whether that means more recordings from the same shows, I don't know, but either way, it's great because you can't beat a good official soundboard recording of one of your favourite bands. Anyway, it's a Bandcamp exclusive. You can pay what you want with the proceeds going to local charities in the 4 cities that they've just played in, which is a really nice touch. And as I said, it's just gone down so well. And for the real connoisseurs out there who like to hear the deep cuts, you've got 5 songs from around the period of the first Foo Fighters album: Alone and Easy Target, Exhausted, Watershed, Weenie Beanie and Winnebago, and then White Limo is thrown in there for good measure too, and they're all sounding really, really huge. I mean, that version of Exhausted, I've just played it over and over and over again. What a track anyway, but I mean, the way they do that kind of false ending with the distortion and the feedback and the drums and then the song kicks back in, absolutely incredible. And obviously Dave's voice has evolved and improved a lot since the mid-90s. And he just sounds really, really strong on it too. So yeah, absolutely great stuff. And there aren't a lot of official recordings of some of these songs in the kind of 3-guitar era Foo Fighters as well, which adds to the sound. And the whole thing is just a great example of how songs can be elevated when they're played live. So we've got a few comments on this from social media. So from Club 606 on Facebook, Chad Batterstone says, I hope whomever makes the unofficial import pressing does a good job. I'm getting mine signed by the guy who says fuck yeah at the end of Watershed. Claire Louise, it's on repeat on my commute to and from work. Eugene Berkery, have been playing over and over. Addicted. Elon is spot on. Boys sounded great. Need volume 2. Absolutely agree with that. Forgot to mention Elon's contribution, because you don't often get a drummer who's only done 4 gigs and then you've already got official live recordings, so just shows how strong they are. John Best Jr., it's scorching. Every track blazes. And then just a few over on the Foo's Files Instagram page too. Jacko Boyd says, love it. Nothing beats the Foos live. John War says, the production value on this is staggering. And then Gavin, aka Sweet Baby Gav, who I know was at the New Haven, Connecticut show, says, sounds super good considering their live recordings. So yeah, the reaction to this, as far as I've seen, has been unanimously positive. It's all for a good cause, so if you haven't done yet, get on Bandcamp. It's well worth £10, £20 or dollars, however much you can afford to give, and it all goes to a good cause. So yeah, get on there and do it, and bring on Volume 2, I say.
How many people, there can't be anybody. How many people saw us play here 30 years ago? Anybody? Really? Did you? No, you did not. You're too young. You're old like me? Yeah, you're old like me, okay. Well, we've been at, when we played here last time, we played with Sonic Youth and the Beastie Boys, and it was amazing.
So moving on, we'll talk about this week's live shows. See, it does seem to be a weekly thing now that we're doing a live review because the concerts have just been coming thick and fast. So obviously last Thursday, the Foo Fighters played at the Beach City International Stadium in Jakarta. As I mentioned, it's the first time that they've played in the Indonesian capital since 1996. So that was a big deal for the locals over there. And then on Saturday, they were on the Padang stage at the Marina Bay Street Circuit in Singapore as part of the F1 Grand Prix. And as I said, Kim Hearn, a friend of ours on the podcast, she was at both of those. She's fast becoming our international correspondent for the podcast. So we're going to have a chat with her. There wasn't really any major set list news from the two shows. I think both had the odd song that were on the set list but didn't end up being played. But they kept some of the deep cuts in, as well as a sprinkling of those greatest hits. So let's go over to my chat with Kim, and she's going to tell us all about it. Kim, welcome back, and how's the trip going?
Thank you. It's going very well. Thank you. Yes, we've had a very full, I don't even know what day of the week it is at the moment. So we've had a very full on week. So we flew into Singapore for a couple of days just to get over the jet lag and get used to the heat before we threw ourselves into queuing and railing and everything. Because obviously we're not gig fit because it's been over a year since I've been to other concerts, but not done the whole queue rail thing for other bands. So we had a couple of days just to recover before we flew down to Jakarta, and yes, exposed ourselves to a lot of heat and sun, but we survived.
Excellent. Should we talk about Jakarta first then? Because that obviously came first in proceedings, and
Yes.
it's a bit of a step into the unknown because they don't have a lot of concerts there. We talked previously, Muse were there a few weeks back. So tell us about the whole experience of Jakarta.
Well, thankfully, Val Entertainment have brought over Green Day and Muse before Foos arrived. So I picked up a lot of information from looking at their Instagram. Just keep hitting the translate button. I mean, they were very good. They put everything in Indonesian and in English, so that was handy. But just getting the fans' feedback, because obviously they're the people on the ground, so that was very useful. And a lovely lady who I'd asked a question on their Instagram, and a lovely lady picked that up, and we've been messaging each other. And she's been really helpful because there was just a different way of working, especially with paying for things inside the arena. I saw one comment from a guy who said, "Oh, I couldn't buy anything because I didn't have the right app and the right QR code." So, and it wasn't just me, because when we arrived at our hotel, so we stayed at a hotel actually in the complex, and we bumped into a lovely German lady called Tina, and she was saying, "How do I pay for things?" And we said, "Well, we were trying to figure it out as well." And then we met another lovely lady the next morning, Leanne from Liverpool. She was trying to work it out as well. So they have this QR code, which is compatible with everything in Indonesia, and there's an app that you load up, like a currency card thing, and then you have to pay with this code. Is Once you've got it working, it works really good, but just trying to find out. Anyway, this lady was helping me, and she was helping me about all sorts of things. So she was lovely, and So yeah, so the first day we actually went down and did a recce on the venue, see what was around there and everything. It's a bit hard to tell from maps and that, so we got down there. And then on the day of the concert, so Leanne tagged along with us, and we arrived about 11, and we looked around like, hello, where's everybody? Uh, and then I also had got in contact with a lovely lady called Anna from Madrid. So there was quite a few people flew in for it from all over. Plus, we met another lovely couple from Singapore, who then we met up with obviously at the Singapore Grand Prix, and they shared the rail with us. So we arrived, and then within half an hour, other people started drifting in. So there's a nice little collection. So we all got to know each other, and the guys just were amazing. They were so excited about Foos coming to Jakarta. And then, sort of like a couple of hours later, there was quite a big gathering of us. And I'm looking around thinking, I bet most of these people weren't even born last time Foos came to Jakarta. But as you said just now, that they're just so enthusiastic. They knew everything. They knew all the words. They all got their T-shirts. And it was really lovely to see. So when we arrived, we were held back, and then we were moved down to the lanes, bag check, tickets. And then from there, we shouldn't run, but we did, down to the next gate, which was actually into the arena. So it was all very well organised. I have, it was very well organised, and just, there was no. By that stage, I think when gates opened, there's probably a couple of hundred of us. So it wasn't manic, not like some places we've been to. So it was good, and we obviously then got to the rail, and then we all camped out until about. Well, we thought Foos were coming on at 8, but they ended up coming on about 8:30. But the gates had already been pushed back, so whether that was a reschedule or not, we're not sure. But after waiting in that sun most of the day, we were very pleased when they came on.
Yeah, they didn't have a support act, did they?
No, there wasn't any support act. And Muse didn't have a support act as well, although they came on about 7:30, I think, but they only played for an hour and 40 minutes. Foos did 2.25 hours, I think. So we had a nice long set list. But the minute that, obviously Dave and the guys ran on stage, and everybody just went crazy, and they opened with All My Life, and oh yes, yeah, the guy next to me was just, as you said, just singing away, and I think that they're probably the loudest crowd I've ever been in. Just, as I say, just so enthusiastic. It was so lovely to see.
Oh, that's great to hear. That's really nice. I mean, looking at the clips, you just say you don't know what to expect because you don't see a lot of footage of concerts in Indonesia, but it looked like when I say a normal Foo Fighters crowd, it didn't look any. There was nothing noticeably different to when they're playing in the UK or in Australia or in Europe because it was the same level of excitement. There are people jumping up and down singing. So as you say, it was great to hear that. The set itself was interesting because we thought we were going to we got a bit of a taster with all the club shows they were doing in the US, and we got more deeper cuts, and we thought these Asia shows, they'll probably revert back to more like greatest hits, but it was a nice mix of the two, wasn't it?
Yes. So I was surprised that I think there was about four songs from the first album. Sorry, everything's becoming a bit of a blur the last few days. Yeah, and the crowd all loved that, singing along to all the real deep cuts. So it was a nice set list. Very happy stacked actors was in there. I mean, from my point of, I mean, probably would. I mean, I love the Teacher live, but it probably would have gone down very well. But I can see why I can see why they did the set list they did, and it's still retaining the flavour of the small shows as well.
And you got to see Ilan for the first time. What did you make of him?
Yes, loved him. So I couldn't see his face terribly well where I was sort of more not quite in front of Pat. So of course I had a symbol blocking his face for a lot of the time. But yeah, he was just amazing. Just a lot of hair and drumsticks. But oh wow, yeah, just really pounding. And then when they got to doing Monkey Wrench, the little bit of solo on Monkey Wrench, the ground was just absolutely shaking. Now I thought Josh was heavy, especially last year during Breakout, the little solo in Breakout, but you know, Island on the drum, yeah, it's just wow. Yes. I can see people keep asking about comparisons, and I don't like to do comparisons, but because they're both brilliant, they're both beasts on the drums. And I don't, I'm not technical on this kind of thing, but they're just different styles. They're different styles of their arms and that. And I would definitely say Island is definitely more Bonham style, looser, just whereas I can see Josh now is probably a little bit more tighter, precise. As I say, I don't really know what I'm talking about with this technical stuff, but they're both they're both heavy, but also I can see they play differently.
Yeah, I think the contrast you've just given, that's what most drum Bernardos seem to say. Exactly the same thing. Did we get much chat from Dave, considering there's not a language barrier as such, because a lot of people do speak English there, but it's not as their grasp of English is obviously probably a bit different. So did they, taking that into account, was there much stage chat from Dave?
No, he didn't do as much as normal, partly because I think they just wanted to cram as many songs in as possible. So the band intros were very short. He didn't do as much chit chat as normal. It was very weird not hearing him swear because he starts off doing some of his patter and then you're expecting the usual, but like, oh yes, right. But no, yeah, he chatted a bit, but not as much as usual. And yes, it was just very odd hearing him not swear, but and obviously, although I think they've been given permission to do quite a lot, they didn't actually do it. So I think he took a swig of champagne. Pat had his normal, but I think he just took a swig of it, and there was no smoking. Obviously, no gum in practice for Singapore. So yeah, they just got on and played mainly.
Great stuff. Great. So Singapore then, very different experience, because it wasn't a Foo Fighters show per se. It was part of the Grand Prix. So tell us about that bit, because you've got different people there for different reasons, I guess, as well.
Yes, because obviously 95% of the people go there for the racing, and it was quite interesting because I joined an F1 tips for Singapore group on Facebook, which is helped run by a lady who her partner is a huge Foo fan. She's a Foo fan, but so I said, well, what sort of time do people line up? What's the concert area like? Oh, it's terribly, terribly laid back. People are just wandering, and you can always get a great spot. But we were surprised actually when certainly our side of the arena started actually filling up quite quickly with just Foo fans. So again, it was obviously a big thing for the locals to have Foos there. And also people have flown in because obviously Singapore's only 7 hours from Sydney and Melbourne and 4 hours from Perth. So there was quite a few Aussies. I was quite surprised how quickly it filled up with just us lot. And obviously it was a much longer wait on Saturday because foos didn't come on till 10:20. So we had a longer wait. The one good thing about that was as we arrived at the rail, the sun went over behind the stage, so we had some shade, which was good. Because even just queuing in the morning, it was the sun was pretty brutal, so we were quite thankful for that. But again, yes, very enthusiastic. The people who came early waited it out, got the side rail and the front rails. Yes, once again, very enthusiastic. And they opened with enough space, and then went into All My Life, and it was really hard to take any photos during All My Life because the ground was just literally bouncing up and down. It was shaking with everybody jumping up and down and going crazy. So it was lovely to see. And I haven't posted it yet, but a lady who was in one of the tall tower hotels overlooking the Padang, she got some video of us all singing My Hero, and it just sounds amazing. So I'll post that on my Instagram because she's given me permission to do that. So, but it absolutely sounds amazing. The whole crowd just singing.
That's brilliant. Yeah, and we're expecting a shorter set, but they still packed like 20 songs in, didn't they?
Yeah, Dave was a bit more. He did chat a bit more in Singapore, but again, yes, small. Shifty did a bit of a solo, which was good because where I was, Shifty was a floating head, so it was good when he came out from behind the speaker to do his solo. I could actually see him, and that was the other strange thing about Singapore and in Jakarta. The stages were very high. Both had very deep security pits. Jakarta even more, which was, and I just kept thinking back to all the little shows that they've done recently in the States and thinking how intimate they were and how far away they were. I mean, even the UK and the US shows, especially with the runway going down the middle, which was where normally I'd stand, it still felt a lot more intimate. But these big stages, yeah, it was like, woo. And when they set up in Singapore, because we had this DJ on beforehand that had his own sort of unit that fills the stage. So the Foo crew had to sort of set up from scratch, basically. And then when they set the mics up, we were thinking, oh, they're going to bring them forward. And Ireland was right at the back, and Rami, and we thought, oh, that's a bit strange, but no, they didn't move them. So it was a bit hard to see Nate, Rami. I had a better view of Ireland, which was quite nice. But obviously, Dave runs around and was coming to the front of the stage quite a lot, so that made up for it. But the Padang's not that deep, so it's not. It doesn't go far back as, say, one of the football stadiums we had in the UK. So that was a bit different. But yeah, he was chatty. He was quite playful on at Singapore. So I've got a couple more videos to post.
What was the atmosphere like, taking into account that it was kind of a mix of Foo fans and general like motor racing punters?
It was really good because a lot of even a lot of the guys the people who went for the Formula One were still liking Foo. The area was completely packed. We bumped into a couple of guys in the hotel who said, "Oh, we saw you on the big screen," and we said, "Did you go?" And he said, "Oh yeah, we love Foos, but we've just never had a chance to see them. So this is brilliant." So I think there was a lot of people like that who were fans, and so I think really, yeah, I think with these concerts, either people aren't too worried. I was chatting to a friend today. We had lunch with a friend who's based here, who's also a big Foo fan. So he said, like last year, I think it was Robbie Williams was headlining. So he said, oh, I didn't bother with that. But I think it just depends on the artist. And I think somebody like Foos who haven't been here for a while, there's just a general lot of people who did want to see them as well as the racing. So I think the atmosphere was brilliant. Everyone was singing along. I could just hear behind me, loads of singing. And as I say, with this video of everybody singing My Hero, yeah, I think everybody was singing. So the atmosphere was great, really good.
Excellent. You just reminded me, you mentioned the crew, and didn't you bump into some of the crew
Yes.
on the flight, was it?
Yeah, that's the second time that's happened. So when we went to the Adelaide concert and we're flying back to Melbourne, we were on the plane with all the crew, the tech crew, and the same thing happened here. So we spotted Sean and the the guitar tech guys and Ian, Dave's monitor guy. Yeah, so we had a chat with them at the baggage carousel and that. So that's quite nice and it's quite funny because they've got a security team who look after the crowd. So they're just making sure everything's okay with the crowd. And we've got to know one of them quite well. He kind of looks, oh, you two. So it's nice because he comes over for a chat, so which is very nice. So yeah, but they're all very nice guys.
Excellent. Anything else worth sharing from the two shows before I let you
I,
get to your holiday?
yeah, so obviously still playing Aurora, but there was no intro to it. There's no mention of Taylor on either one, but just going straight into it. But probably we all know now, why they're playing that song, and they will always play it.
They've
So
still got the hawk on the backdrop, though, haven't they?
yes, definitely. Yeah, I think that was the most noticeable thing. So short band intros, no swearing because obviously the region that we're in. Yeah, so I think that was. But both shows were really good, and I'm definitely worth making the trip for. And it was nice to see some other people flying in for these shows as well. It was absolutely manic after the show. And we were walking down the main road, and there's just we were being mobbed by people on scooters offering us lifts. No crash helmet, no protection, and just hop on a scooter and whiz you around somewhere. So that was funny. There must have been thousands and thousands of scooters out that night. So we walked back to our hotel and then bumped into these couple of Aussies who'd flown in for the show as well. So we were comparing notes about, traveling to shows, and so they just said, "Oh, you're bonkers as we are." So it's nice to meet fellow fans who do the same thing. But like every food show that we go to, we meet lots of lovely people, make new friends. There was, as I say, there was this couple from Singapore, and they were doing a group photos for some of the fan page, fan groups. So we're getting him in, going like, "You're one of us now." So, and then when Brendan from Australia, I'm sure we've met at a gig somewhere, but obviously we got lots of mutual friends as well from the Aussie food crew. So yeah, and that's what we were saying. So Amy and Jill came in from New York. Linda came in from Canada. So again, it's nice to meet up with your old friends, and that's what we say it's about. It's not just it's an extension of going to see the band. It's meeting up with all your old friends that we meet and hang out with, which is all part of it. It's not, which is lovely.
Thanks, Kim, as always, provided a great bit of colour there about her experience of the two shows, and really nice of her to take some time out from a holiday to do so. Now we're going to get the view of the locals. So we've got Devin and Iman. As I said, they run the Foo Fighters Indonesia account on Instagram, which they set up when they knew the band were coming back to Jakarta. And I know how much they appreciated the opportunity to talk about the Foo Fighters coming back to Indonesia, and really appreciate them too, because English isn't their first language. It's not the easiest thing being able to come on a English speaking podcast to talk about this, but yeah, they were really enthusiastic and a lovely bunch of lads. They're also in a band themselves called Sonic Waves, who are really cool, so check them out. I'll post a link in the description. So yeah, this is Devin and Iman from Foo Fighters Indonesia.
So, who's never seen the Foo Fighters? Come on now, let me see it. Who never? Okay, all right. I get it. We live really far away, so I understand. If we lived here, we'd play here every week. If we lived here. It's a long flight.
So guys, welcome to the podcast. How are you?
Yes, hello, I'm fine then.
We are fine.
Very fine.
Good.
Thank
So-
you Dan, for inviting us to this amazing podcast.
It's a pleasure to have you. So you must be still on a real high about the show on Thursday.
Yes, it's a really hype then because you know that my feet was still a little bit injury because I also have many jump and so have a little bit mossing at the pit. So yeah, my feet is still a little bit injury, but it's okay. I'm having fun in there.
I mean, it's the first time that they've played in Jakarta for 30 years. So when you saw the announcement a few months ago, tell us about how exciting that was to see that they were finally coming back.
Oh yes, the first time I got the information is from the social media, like not like the media from the Indonesia, and there's and they just announced that one of the band from America, Foo Fighters, will come to Indonesia. But in my first mind, I still there's if there is not from the official partner or official team, I didn't believe it at the last. But okay, but if the Foo Fighters can come to Indonesia, it will be good. And after I got the gossip from those media, after I got the gossip, okay, I just hope Foo Fighters will come. And after several weeks, after the 3 weeks after I heard the gossip, one of the one of the event organizer announced that, hey, Foo Fighters will come to Indonesia. Like, oh my God, this because you know that Foo Fighters is one of my reference for my music, of course, for my alternative music. Foo Fighters is this is number one of my reference for my music because I'm play drum, you know, at my band, and I'm really excited about. Oh yeah, oh my God, Foo Fighters! I still do not believe it, and you know that the announcement is at the night. If I'm not mistaken, it's about the 7 p.m. at the night, and I was just arrived at the home and like, oh my God, is this real or not? And after that, yeah, I'm really excited about it, and besides the excited, you know that at the 3 4 months ago that the that you know that the Josh Freeze was out of the band. Do you know that like and I asked how like who is the drummer will be changed in Indonesia will be or who is the drummer will be play in Indonesia. I was really curious because I'm a drummer, you know that. So after that, when several months ago, September, Ilan Rubin was announced, and I'm very happy about it because Ilan Rubin was of my reference too when I'm playing the drum. You know, yeah, they're really happy.
So you've been following Ilan Rubin's career as well.
Yes, I'm following when he was at Paramore at
Okay.
2011. Yes.
I also beside Foo Fighters Indonesia.
Yeah.
Sorry
Sorry, what?
for the delay. I also running beside Foo Fighters Indonesia. I also running Angels and Ravens Base, which Ilan Rubin was part of that band with Tom DeLonge. It's so excited to see how Ilan Rubin will work with Foo Fighters because he is a monster multi-instrumentalist. I really love how Ruben do to the music in Angels and RF, and I hope to see more about him to in Foo Fighters. What he will bring to the Foo Fighters.
Absolutely. Do you want to tell us both a bit about your Foo Fighters story in terms of how you first became fans of the band?
My first time hearing Foo Fighters, I think it's Rob from Westing Light. I heard, I think I heard them from YouTube, but I when I heard the song Rob, wow, that that groove, that vocals, that delay, that guitar, it's awesome. And I bought the Greatest Hits album, and I start listening to their old materials. I really love it.
Okay. Okay. When 2011, did you know that Foo Fighters got Grammy Awards from the single Walk? And after that, I just bow. And after that, I just listen. Hey, this is I love it. I love the how the songs from the intro, from the from the rap under the outro is that the from the minimum volume to the maximum volume. And after that, oh, it's a great songs. And I look at the band. Who is the band? Oh, the band is Foo Fighters. And I read the story on the internet that okay, the Foo Fighters was the legendary. The vocalist was the legendary from Nirvana. Like, oh, the Death Row is a multi instrumentalist. So I heard Foo Fighters album just from I think from the Sonic Highway. And after that, the first album, the third album that makes me love Foo Fighters.
That's brilliant. That's great. So tell us about setting up the Foo Fighters Indonesia Instagram account then. Was that something that you did because you knew they were coming to Jakarta, or was that already in existence?
The Foo Fighters. Oh, yes. We just made. Iman, correct me if I'm wrong. Because Iman was the co-founder of the Foo Fighters Indonesia, and if I'm not mistaken, it was when the Foo Fighters announced the concert in Indonesia. So okay, Iman chat me. Hey Devin, how if make the Foo Fighters Indonesia fan base, and after okay, we can just made it. We just made it the Foo Fighters Indonesia fan base. And why we want to have the Foo Fighters Indonesia fan base? Because do you know that Indonesia is so many fan base like Muse fan base Indonesia, like Nirvana Indonesia fan base. I think it's a very good because the Foo Fighters want to come Indonesia in that time.
That's really cool. So tell us about Thursday, like show day, and your experience.
Okay, okay. So I just come to the venue at the about 6:15 or 6:20 o'clock. That there were already many people coming to the venue. It's a very good for stage and to take the photo is a very good too. When the provider's playing the songs, the opening is All My Life, like that's it's a very good thing. That the sounds because that Foo Fighters have three guitarists that I think the most of the band is if the three guitarists will be the harder to balance the sound, but the sound is very balanced for me. Yeah. For my perspective, it's very balanced, but because I'm just from the left side, the Christopher side. It's very good things. I think the sound is very good. The set list was amazing. About the 30 songs, all good from the sound. The sound is very balanced because the sound, that the venue in Jakarta is near the beach. There are the beach wind that, I'm a little bit, a little bit afraid because the wind of the beach is will be make the sound is not good, but that is good. That is a very good sound, I think. Yes.
Excellent. How about you, Iman? What were your thoughts on the concert?
Well, I think I saw many people enjoy it. Many people from 30 years ago that watched Foo Fighters first time in Jakarta in 1966, and they had amazing experience with Dave Grohl and how they accept Alon as their new drummer. They bring many energy, and they love the energy that Foo Fighters bring to the Indonesia. They never let many people down because they want to bring more energy to the concert. That they are so great, more great live band than they are in recording.
Excellent. Devin, you talked about the set list. Any songs that really stood out for you? Did you have any favourites?
Oh, my favorite, but my two favorite that I must take is Best of You and No Son of Mine. When they bring life is a very magic, that the improvement. That Best of You is a very special for me because if for me and my cousin that I together watch Foo Fighters at the last Thursday. If you want to, I discussed with my cousin. If you want to find know if the drummer is fit in Foo Fighters or not, just listen Best of You in the live version. And okay, I think Iman Rubin is a good choice for the book Fighters, right? So and okay, Pure and one song and no son of mine is because I love Motorhead, the Motorhead band. So yeah, no son of mine is one of the best two for me.
Oh, because they did the Ace of Spades thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
a little bit song of Ace of Spades in the no son of
Yeah.
and that the rhythm of the no son of mine too is influence from the Motorhead.
Yeah, sure. Okay. And just like lastly, then, tell us about the audience in Jakarta, because it's not a city where a lot of Western bands come and play very often. I know you've recently had Muse play there, and now you've had Foo Fighters, but a lot of people who listen to this podcast will know about UK Foo Fighters audiences and American Foo Fighters audiences, but they've probably never heard of the Foo Fighters playing in Jakarta. So what's the fan base and the audience like at a Foo Fighters concert in Jakarta?
Oh, for my perspective is in Indonesia is many people love rock music. I think yes. There are so many people in Indonesia love Foo Fighters too. Many people singing, jumping, and crowd surfing. Because I'm at the 1B and I look at the 1A category beside me. There is so many people though doing the crowd surfing. Crowd surfing. Like wow, it's a great thing.
Awesome. Oh, that's great. Anything else you guys want to add about the show or about the Foo Fighters before we finish?
Okay, maybe for me, we will say thank you very much then because you're already inviting this podcast, and we hope that Professor Indonesia can known internationally from another world. I think that's a thank you very much for me.
No, it's a pleasure. It's a global community. We all love the same band, so it doesn't matter where we are in the world. It brings us together. So that's great.
Thank you then for the opportunity for Who's File podcast. Hope you enjoy our conversation. Thank you for inviting the Indonesian fan base to the podcast. Maybe we can do more collaboration in the next future.
That's awesome, guys. And hopefully it's not another 30 years before they come back to Jakarta.
We hope so.
Again, thank you to Devin and Iman for coming on to talk all things Foo Fighters and the Jakarta show. And as I said, lovely for us to be able to reach a part of the Foo community in another part of the world that we haven't touched yet, because that's what it's all about. And yeah, Devin talked about getting a few injuries from the mosh pit, but it's a sign of a good concert if you come out with a few bumps and bruises, isn't it? So yeah, great stuff. Thank you once again for listening to Foo's Files. That's it for this week. So let's see what happens in Japan, and maybe we'll have something to talk about next time. But in the meantime, do leave us a review and a rating on your favourite podcast app if you're enjoying the show. Take care and have a great week.